Hello, hello, lovely beans. Welcome to today's episode of the Autumn Mindset. 'Tis I, your host and mindset guide, Autumn Oakley. So today, I want to talk about motivation, and you hear it all the time. Is that we need to do discipline because motivation isn't always going to be there. But I want to shift the perspective with motivation. I want to shift the perspective of, oh my god, my hair. I'm having a bad hair day. My hair looks insane. We got a hat on. It's all good. Anyways, just, being me. So, ignore the hair. Oh my god, it looks so funny. I look like, oh my god, like one of those cartoon characters, like in the Minions or Groot or something. Okay, anyways, back into the episode. Motivation. So, what I want to shift the perspective of with motivation is that motivation, yes, it's not going to continue, every day. It's not going to be the thing that drives you to do the stuff you need to do. But I think in regards to, consistency, we talk about consistency as a replacement for motivation. And I don't really like this view. And I find it doesn't always work for many people. Why do I say this? So let's be real. So many of us can show up every day. We show up for years in the job that perhaps makes us money, but we don't love. We show up doing fitness, and yes, it is about slow growth and, trusting the process and showing up every day and doing the things even when you don't have the motivation to do it. We can show up for weeks, for months, for years on end, but it doesn't mean that it's going to manifest the life we want to be living. It doesn't mean it's going to manifest the things that we perceive we want, but when we manifest it, we don't feel any different. And I talk about this all the time, but I really like to share this, perspective. I really want to shift this perspective with people because it breaks my heart, and I hear it all the time, that people work so hard. You are working so hard to work your ass off for these things that you think are going to make you feel something on the other side when you manifest it into your life. But then you get that job, you connect, with that relationship, you get all that money, you created your business, you pursue your craft, you manifest the thing, and then you don't feel any different. You still feel depressed, you still feel the same, you still feel no different than before you manifested this thing you worked so hard to, create, to build, to get to this goal. And that breaks my heart. And that's what I, want to bring forth in this perception shift that we have with motivation and consistency, is that the mind leads us to pursue things that sometimes is actually, what we perceive we want. The mind likes patterns. The mind, really is about understanding that the mind falls in place with the ego. And the ego, the mind, likes what it's come to know. It doesn't like discomfort. We talk about this all the time. And that's why we say being disciplined, being consistent means, that you're not always going to be motivated to do stuff, but you need to do the hard things. And I'm not saying not to be disciplined. I'm not saying not to be consistent. But I think there is a perspective shift to understand, we really need to question, the motivation. We really need to question what we're pursuing in this consistency, these disciplines. Because let's be real, if there's something that isn't for the most part motivating you to do something, I'm going to say that's not aligned with authentically what you want in life, authentically what your soul is calling you to do. And this is something I experienced over the years and just over time in general, was that I was pursuing things that were not aligned with, who I was. It didn't make me happy. When I manifested certain things, I got, stressed. I was in burnout. I was not understanding why I was confused. I didn't like what I was experiencing. I worked so hard just to create these things, to do the things I thought I was meant to do. And I feel like everybody, at some point or another struggles with this. We get confused of what we're supposed to do because, let's be real, being human is hard. We struggle on figuring out what it is we're meant to do because we're out of touch with our authenticity. We're out of touch with our soul. What has been conditioned in society for so long, for generations, has led us into the mind, the thought process of looking outside of ourselves for what to do. And this is why this is tied into motivation, and something I've learned is that if it does not motivate me on a deep soul level, I am likely not going to enjoy it if I manifest it. I am likely not going to feel any type of motivation to pursue it in general. And we're here to live a life. Yes, there's going to be challenges. Yes, we need to be disciplined and do the things we don't want to do. But if you look at people who really enjoy the process of those disciplines, they really enjoy the process of that uncomfortability in their self-growth, their transformation, they are enjoying that process. In a way, let's be real, they are motivated by something other than the goal. They are motivated by this feeling that they get excited about every day to wake up to, that they get to go to the gym, that they get to pursue their creative craft, that they get to explore what's new, they get to travel, whatever it is that excites you, that motivates you. There is an element with motivation I think we've cut out in society to say, you need to do the disciplines, motivation isn't going to help you. But I think that is the clue. I think that is the thing that we need to bring our focus back to, is like the things we're pursuing. Yes, you need to be disciplined. Yes, you need to, face the truth of yourself to be like, you know what? I'm not eating healthy. I need to like cut the shit and switch up my nutrition. I need to be disciplined in that. I need to tell my ego no. I need to, set these intentions. I need to, go ahead to be disciplined with how I spend my finances, how I am building my business and my career. We need to embody a different self to experience something different. It's about our foundations and who we are. So that will come with discipline. Living a life that's, aligned with your soul, your passions, it's going to come forth with discipline, because, we can't just be frolicking around doing what we wish all the time and expect to feel, excited about everything. We can't expect to feel, that we're living with purpose and intention. And that's what we really want to be experiencing. We want to feel this feeling that maybe we have yet to experience. So when we are feeling like this lack of motivation, sometimes it is a perspective shift. Sometimes it is for us to address something in our lives. Yes, pursue the disciplines. If you are not, someone who's ever disciplined, practice that, get uncomfortable with that. But on some level, we need to really face fact. Like, if we're not motivated in some way of something that's bigger than the goal, we're likely not going to do it. And also, it's likely not aligned with the thing you want to feel on the other side. So, an example of this. Let's talk consistency. Let's talk motivation. So when we're being consistent, and let's just use, the general thing. We like to talk about, fitness. Sure. Let's talk about fitness. So it's general. It's a, light topic. Let's get into it. So fitness, being consistent with it. I've been on so many different paths with fitness, falling off of it, getting back into it, trying all these different styles of fitness, different periods in my life. I was going through different challenges in life. I felt like I didn't have the resources for fitness. I felt like I didn't have, the physical ability with fitness, being bedridden twice with chronic illness. I felt a lot of inflammation at different periods of time. I felt a lot of self-doubt and, a lot of shame getting back into the gym after I gained a lot of weight. I've been in all these different stages in regards to motivation and fitness, that I understand that motivation isn't going to be your driving source. You need to be disciplined. You need to say, no, this is, what I'm going to do, and I'm doing it for me, and I'm making the change. But what I also learned is that I spent years in the gym doing the thing. I would go, every day, at least 5 days a week, even 6-7 days a week, I would go to the gym. I was consistent. I was showing up, even without the motivation. And on this journey, I did that for years. But on the other side of that, I had to look at my life in those years. I was unfulfilled. I was showing up and doing the things. And yes, sometimes you have to, practice patience to wait for something beautiful to manifest. But while I did feel stronger in my body, while yes, it's about, slow progression to get to a better space, I wasn't feeling great in my mind. I wasn't feeling the things I thought I would feel in regards to fitness. And I was pushing myself. I wasn't just, doing the same things for years. I was going ahead to try different styles of fitness in the gym. I was, increasing the weight in, all of those details. I was practicing and, learning and going along the path of slow progression. But with this consistency, there was something missing from, my soul. There was something missing of me and the motivation. And that's what I came to realize. This is just one example of many, looking at different areas of my life, is that motivation, yes, might not always be there, but that is the thing you need to question. If you're not feeling motivated most days to be doing something, there's something to address there. If you're not feeling excited and motivated in your everyday life, there's something to shift. And sometimes that means we need to bring, our awareness and face hard truths. Sometimes that is for us to say that, hey, you know what? Maybe, yes, I'm doing the fitness, but I'm not feeling aligned in this environment, this space. Maybe I really enjoy different styles of fitness. I need to practice that. Maybe I want to be immersed in, spin, or, maybe I like swimming. Maybe, I need to incorporate more of that and still do the gym and those aspects. But maybe that's something I need to switch up. Maybe that will actually excite me, for this element of motivation to be excited about the journey that I'm looking to change in my life. When it comes to, just the motivation in general, and you're not feeling motivated, in the gym, maybe that's a self-reflection to say, hey, you know what? My mindset hasn't shifted in years. I'm still feeling a lot of depression. I'm at the gym all the time. What is this about? And sometimes that's what it's about. We get into the gym and it makes us feel good, but unless we're willing to face other facts of our life, then we're not going to feel motivated and excited to go to the gym because we're repressing emotions. And we use the gym sometimes, this is just me and my experience, but I do know a lot of people do this, so I'm just sharing this perspective as well, is that because, fitness is good for mental health, we focus on that, but it means we actually do need to do the healing. We need to do the uncomfortable things outside of the fitness, outside of the gym, to face fact and get really uncomfortable with it. Like, I need to feel these emotions I've repressed for decades, and that was me. I spent years in the gym, unmotivated, doing the thing, showing up, being consistent, but my life wasn't changing. I wasn't experiencing what I wanted to feel in my mental state, in my physical body, because everything is energy. Everything holds an effect. So when we talk about, motivation, that is the thing to question, is that, yes, some days you're going to wake up exhausted. Some days you're going to be like, oh, I don't want to do the thing. Do the thing. Be disciplined. I get that. We need to follow through with those disciplines, and it's on the calendar. Let's go. Let's do it. But to some level, on the other side of that resistance of the motivation, you start doing it, like, you should get excited about it. You should, most days of the week, be motivated to do the thing, because you know that you're going to feel good on the other side of that. If you are feeling unmotivated to do the stuff because you're not actually getting excited after you do the stuff, then I'm going to say that maybe there's something that needs to be shifted there. Maybe the career you're pursuing isn't really bringing your soul joy. Maybe that is something you need to shift and understand, that maybe I'm meant to be doing something else that's actually going to excite me and motivate me in life. Life is short. We need to switch up the perspective of having to exhaust ourselves, having to, ignore the motivation and just do the things, do the consistency. And yes, like I said, we need to do these things and be consistent and be disciplined, not do this, way of living of, quick gratification. But we need to really understand that motivation is a clue. Motivation is something that is a clue of our lives. If we're not feeling motivated in some sort of way for the most part, there's something in our life, that or something else, that needs to be shifted. It needs to be addressed. And that's what I noticed, just looking at the simple example of, going to the gym all the time, showing up, doing the things, regardless of the motivation. It wasn't changing my life. It wasn't changing my mindset. It wasn't changing how I felt in my life. I felt alone. I felt stagnant. I was doing the careers I thought I meant to. I felt like I was just, stuck in life. And I was like, what is this? What am I experiencing? I'm doing the things. People tell me to do the things. They tell me to be disciplined. They tell me to do all this stuff, but I'm not feeling great. I'm not feeling any different. And that's what it's about. is that I really like to share this all the time. The mind takes over sometimes. The mind leads us to perceptions of other people that we perceive, hey, I need to make things work out in this way. People are sharing what's working out for them in finances, so you're going ahead to try those things, and they're not manifesting for you, they're not working. Maybe it's not meant for you. You know, when we are going to talk about fitness and nutrition, people are sharing with you what has worked for them uniquely. That's what worked for them uniquely. Maybe at this point in time, or just in general, that's not going to work for you. Maybe that's not aligned with who you are uniquely, authentically, your physical body, your mental health, your energy, your nervous system, what you enjoy in life, your career, the things you have yet to experience that you're actually here to live and pursue. Like, life is a journey. Life is about trying what's new, and that is where the motivation comes from. When we can switch out of this perception of consistency and discipline, yes, like I said, be disciplined, do consistent things, but switch up the perspective of it. Like, the motivation is the clue. We should be excited to some extent about our lives. We should be excited to some extent that, yes, maybe we're exhausted. Yes, we don't want to be doing this thing every single day, but we have to show up anyway because we made a commitment to ourselves. We made a commitment to other people. We made a commitment to, you know, our business, to our clients. Like, stick to your commitments. That's important. Show up as that person, but understand, like, if you are not experiencing any type of motivation, that really is the thing we need to face, is that maybe what I perceive I'm pursuing is not actually for me. What I perceive I'm pursuing is actually not really the thing that's going to excite me, to bring me that sense of motivation, that I don't make it so hard. And that's what motivation is, right? When we don't feel motivated, how much harder is it to do the things you want to do when you are unmotivated? It is so much harder. You don't want to do anything if you're unmotivated. Let's be real. You fall into these states of, you know, self-doubt. You aren't motivated to even do the thing. But that's what it's about, is like, you need to do things that excite you. You need to get out of your own way sometimes to become a new self, try the things, get uncomfortable with it. Yes, do the disciplines, practice that for weeks on end, periods of time. But like, if it's progressing and you're not actually getting up and feeling a difference in your mental state, in your physical body, in your motivation throughout the day, in your energy levels, like, I'm gonna say, like, maybe that's just the mind saying that we need to do something in a certain way, and that's for us to shift, to change. So this is my unique perspective on motivation, and that, you know, we kind of need that motivation, and that really is the thing to question a lot of time. And I feel like, you know, in society and self-development, motivation has just been removed. Motivation has been kind of saying, we don't need motivation, we just need disciplines, we just need consistency. And it's become kind of like this bad thing that, like, you know, we don't even talk about being motivated anymore. Like, motivation is a part of it. A motivation is that sign, that clue that something is exciting you, you know, the change, the growth. And growth is going to be uncomfortable. Doing disciplines is going to be uncomfortable. And you do need to do the stuff and practice that. And that's going to be unique to you in just trial and error with those things. But at some point, doing the things consistently over time, if you're not feeling any sense of motivation or excitement on the other side of that, like, resistance you're facing, of like, you're exhausted, you're burnt out, you're facing, you know, limiting beliefs of self-doubt, you feel fear, like whatever it is that you're kind of battling with yourself and your ego to push through that sense of, like, I'm not motivated to do this thing, and you go ahead to do the thing you need to do anyway, and you're not, you know, experiencing excitement, you're not experiencing an uplift in energy, you're not experiencing, you know, motivation in time to say, like, I'm getting so excited about next week because I have all of these things to do, and I know when I do these things, I feel really good, so that motivates me. This is the second thing I want to talk about with motivation. So, a shift in perspective with motivation, with the consistency, the disciplines, and really just bringing motivation back into the equation of self-development to say, like, at some point in time, I should experience motivation. At some point in time, I should feel excited about the stuff, or that means that maybe I need to realign myself, try different things, see what is working for me, what is aligned with my soul, what is exciting me. And that's what it is about motivation as well. I know, I'll get back into the second thing. But that's what it is about motivation as well, is that motivation is the unknown. We get excited and feel that sense of fear in going into what's unknown to experience something we want to experience on the other side of that. And that's what comes through with, we're doing the disciplines, we're doing the hard things, we're trying new things, right? But if the mind knows the disciplines, the mind knows the consistency, that's your new level, that's your new comfort zone. And I know some people talk about this, and it is a thing, that what once was uncomfortable for you in time is your new comfort zone. So that's the thing with motivation as well, is like motivation is linked to new experiences. Motivation is linked to the things you actually want to experience in this life that is not the same. It's not the same disciplines for years on end. It's not the same consistencies. So motivation really is your clue to understand, like, hey, maybe I am doing these disciplines. How can I change it? I'm not feeling motivated anymore. I'm not experiencing a lot of change in my opportunities, my energy, my mental state. I'm getting pretty, bored. I'm not really motivated to do these things. That's for me to question. I should on some level be motivated most of the time to do the stuff. So that is the excitement I'm looking for. How can I still partake in these disciplines? How can I still partake in certain consistencies to manifest a different experience, to reach that goal that you intend to in your physical health, your business, your relationships, whatever it may be, to step into a new version of yourself? But really ask the question, like, what new elements can I bring in? What is really uncomfortable in a new way that I can try, experience, whether that is getting out of your comfort zone. If you're at the gym all the time, you've never done yoga, that's going to be really uncomfortable for you. Go ahead, practice that, try that out, see how that goes. Fight your ego a few times. You see how that changes your element of motivation, how your physical body changes, how you start feeling different in your body in those ways. If it is, you doing your business and you're doing a lot of the same. Maybe you're coaching. So you're coaching a lot of the same clients all the time. You have your things set up, but you haven't really, done anything that's new, haven't grown. You're not really feeling motivated anymore. And you love working with your clients. You love the work you do, but you're not feeling that motivation. Maybe you're going to a bit of a time of stagnancy. You're feeling unmotivated. You're feeling, kind of depressed. You're waking up late, you're not excited about the day. That is the thing to question. We need to be experiencing some level of motivation, or sometimes that means we've become stagnant. Sometimes that means if we're experiencing a really big lack of motivation, that it's leading us to not do stuff, or to hide away, or feel depressed, or want to remove ourselves, and we're not excited about experiencing the day. That is the clue, is that motivation is linked to new experiences. So that's for us to step into what's new, try bringing in new things, create something new. Maybe there's a different perspective you shifted in your coaching business that, you want to try out. These are things that you want to talk about. Maybe it's not linked to what you're currently doing. And I think that's a big thing, in entrepreneurial, pursuits. And I think that is really the embodiment of an entrepreneur, and something you see is people are so inspired. They're they don't need motivation, they just do all of these things. And being an entrepreneur means you're willing to embrace the unknown all the time. You are always pivoting. People don't always recognize you're letting shit fall apart to reevaluate, to completely build things again from the ground up in a new way. And recognize when something is no longer working and something was just meant to be a stepping stone in your journey. Entrepreneurship is the true embodiment of a life of alignment, a life of following your intuition, because you're willing to get uncomfortable, to let go of the stuff and the elements that are no longer meant for you to continue with in regards to your business and of yourself. Entrepreneurship is about you addressing your foundations all the time. So when we talk about motivation, we're always inspired by, these entrepreneurs, and we're they're always doing all these different things, and we associate that with the motivation to do stuff. They're always facing crap. They're always willing to recognize when you need to pivot, when you need to make something shift, when you need to deal with a situation. You have 24 hours to completely figure out a solution. It isn't always fun. It isn't always something that is going to be a sense of motivation, oh, this is exciting, but that's what it is. There's something that motivates entrepreneurs, there's something that motivates, them on a deeper level than the exterior. There is something that motivates them to resolve the problem. There's something within their soul that drives them to rise up. And that is the second thing I want to talk about in regards to motivation. So when we feel like we struggle to hold motivation in life, it needs to be something that we can't always understand. We can't always see the goal, but that is aligned with something deep within our soul. And I know that rhymed. I'm a rhymer. But that is what I've noticed, like, time and time again, is like when shit hits the fan, when things crumble, like, I've lived a life of, just being a walking tower moment a lot of the time. And that's what we talk about, is like, people don't change, until there's like certain circumstances that arise. And one of those is like everything crumbles and they have no other option, and they're so uncomfortable with how things are that they choose to change. But motivation and the soul, something deeper. And that is what, motivation really is like, we've removed motivation as a thing, and we are doing, the thing of disciplines, of consistency, and we're showing up and we're doing this stuff and it's manifesting things. But what I'm hearing a lot, and what I've experienced in the past, is something I want to share, is that we're manifesting things that don't make us feel any different. We're working our asses off. We're spending our time in this life doing things that are misaligned with, the life we want to be living, our soul's alignment on that aspect, something deeper within ourselves that is actually trying to lead us to the things we want to feel, the things we want to experience. Us as humans, we are here to feel things. And when we repress that, we experience that. And when we don't face, that uncomfortability to understand, like, if on some level it doesn't motivate me, it might not be aligned with me. It might just be something I feel in my mind that I need to pursue to manifest what I want to feel. But when it comes to motivation, you will always be motivated to do something if it's in an element that's bigger than you. And what do I mean by that? So I like to talk about, soul's purpose and alignment, and something just like deep within you that drives you, that moves you. And that's what it is. Like, sometimes we just need to face fact, like, we don't know what's going to come up in the future. We are amongst the fog. We need to accept that, and we need to embrace that. So what does that mean? We live a life amongst the unknown, and that's actually where you're going to find your alignment, your purpose, and those details of you start experiencing the things you want to feel, the things that bring you joy, the new experiences that come in. But it's in something that is deeper within your soul that is going to move you into motivation. So this is something I've experienced, and this is something like I was talking about with entrepreneurship. There's an element that we don't always know what's going to manifest. We don't always know, the goal we're going to reach. It's, an intention. You set an intention, and you just know there's something within you, and it doesn't have to be clear at this moment in time, but in time, it'll become clearer of what actually drives your soul, what drives you. And it's always about something bigger than yourself. It is about understanding that you being motivated is going to actually come forth when you are doing things in a space of resiliency, regardless of what's happening to you and your experience, to help other people. And I know, very deep, but that's something I recognize to be true, and that I see, and you see it in leaders all the time. All of the leaders that you were so inspired by, and you were like, how do they get this motivation to do these things? They're driven by something bigger than themselves. We don't always look at the elements of their life that they are facing, of challenge, of things falling apart, of health struggles, of all of these challenges that they are constantly facing, but they continue to move forward in the sense of motivation. And it's not motivation for them, it's motivation for something bigger than themselves. It is them stepping into what's uncomfortable to do the things because it's motivating for them to inspire other people. It's motivating them to do the thing to support the people they have to pay in their business. It is motivating them to do the things so that they are assisting, guiding, inspiring, and leading other people. And that's what it is. If you want to be motivated in life, you need to become clear to some extent what actually drives your soul. You have to get clear on some level to understand like what is actually going to motivate you has nothing to do with you. And this is the funny, ironic thing I've come to know in life is like, you know, self-love is about choosing yourself, but self-love is also understanding like you loving yourself is also you loving other people. You setting boundaries is helping to show other people that they can set boundaries as well. You filling your cup is for you to have that support of yourself, that love for yourself, that you can share that with the community, with others. So when we are feeling, you know, a lack of motivation, that's for us to really recognize like, okay, one, I'm not doing what's authentic to me. So that's for me to address, you know, that element of what inspires me. What do I need to be pursuing that's going to motivate me to some extent? And on this path, you'll start it and you'll see like you're choosing yourself. You're following your joy. Motivation does have to do a little bit about you and your joy and your excitement. But if things are not going as you want in life, there needs to be an element that's bigger than you. There needs to be an element that drives your motivation, your willingness to do things that is actually for your higher calling, for a greater good that has nothing to do with you, has nothing to do with what you're experiencing, has nothing to do with the joy you're pursuing. You know the things you want to pursue. You're following through with the things that you deserve to be living and experiencing this life. And I want that for you. You deserve to live your highest timeline. You deserve to live in the embodiment of your highest potential. You deserve to live a life that freaking excites you. And that's what I want for you. And that's why I started this podcast. But it is for us to understand, like, at some point, we're not going to be motivated if we're only focused on ourselves. We're not going to be motivated to do the things if we're just doing it for us. And this is the funny, ironic thing is like, life really changes for you when you take a journey of self-growth, self-discovery, self-love. It is about you. But on this journey, if you want to continue to be motivated, you need to gain clarity of what drives you that has nothing to do with you, which is actually more aligned with your purpose, your, soul's calling, that is here to assist and guide and help other people in some way. And that's what's going to motivate you, is for you to show up and say, hey, you know what? Me doing this thing has nothing to do with me, and I'm following through with this. I'm motivated to do this because I need to show up in this way. And let's be real, we do this all the time, but we don't always view it in this way. We view it in more of a sense of like that we're showing up for other people, but more in a state of like business or like people we love. So when we are talking about like work and stuff, you want to show up for work. So you show up for work because you said you would. Okay, that's the same thing. It's not about you, but you show up every day. Even if you hate the job, you're still showing up. Maybe partly for your finances, and that has to do with you. But you said you would do the job, you're doing the job, and you have this little bit of motivation to do it until you don't. If you really hate your job, let's be real, you're going to lose the motivation to do it. You're going to fall out of alignment with that. And that is the thing we need to face a lot of the time, is like the motivation needs to be there. And sometimes things are just a stepping stone in life. So when the motivation fades, that's the thing to question. When the motivation fades, it's for us to understand like, hey, you know what? Maybe there's something I'm here to do that's bigger than me. Maybe there's something bigger that I'm meant to pursue. Maybe there is a different alignment, a different path for me to explore, to try, to follow my joy, to do these things, to find the path that actually excites me, yes, and is about me to some extent. But in time, what will come forth is that the motivation will continue when I find clarity of what drives my soul. What will bring that motivation for me to be resilient when things fall apart, when I'm faced with challenges, when things are not going my way, I build resilience. It's not about the consistency, it's about resilience. When you find that the resilience to do the things, to be motivated in that way, to rise up to whatever it is you're experiencing in life, to do something for other people, that is alignment. That is the motivation you want, and that is the motivation that will stay with you. That is the motivation that's actually aligned with your purpose. That is the motivation that is actually going to connect you with everything you want to experience in life. So that is my unique view on that in regards to motivation. And if you want it to stay true, to continue, we need to get really in touch with a deeper calling within ourselves, and to come out of the elements of what we're trying to do for ourselves, and really get clear, become aware of what it is we actually want to bring forth into this world to help inspire, guide, and, lead other people. And that is what is going to drive that motivation that you're feeling like you can't stick with. And that's what it is. The soul knows. We like to talk about, the mind and these things. Your authentic self, your soul, something deep within you really knows what is meant for you. You're here to live an abundant life. You're here to live a life of excitement. But we got to go through some layers of what's uncomfortable, of how we've been living life for a prolonged period of time just in society. And there's a lot of self-doubt built in. There's a lot of, fear built in. There's a lot of elements of, shame, that what we've experienced, we don't always feel motivated to do the thing we need to do because we feel shame about it, because we fell off of it in the past, whether that's nutrition and fitness. We don't always feel motivated to do the thing because we feel self-doubt in our abilities, because other people told us we weren't capable. All of our experiences hold an effect on our mindset and our belief system. But it's when you break through those layers, you start pursuing your joy, you start loving yourself, choosing yourself, you will fall into this path of motivation. You will fall into this path that things that you once felt you struggled to stay motivated and stick to become easy for you, because you're aligned with your authenticity. You are aligned with the life of your soul's calling, your purpose, and life becomes easier in that way. And I'm not saying you're not going to face challenges, but they become easier the more that, you step into alignment with this path of your purpose, and the motivation just drives you. It just really is, an exciting aspect, is that when you feel the motivation, you get excited. Let's be real. We're like, oh, I don't feel motivated today. That's the thing. Most of the time, at some level, we should feel excited for life. I feel like what we've learned in society for so long has just been so much structure, just been so much falling out of touch with ourselves, our joy, our fun. What's been built in is so much fear, self-doubt, so much scarcity, so much horrible things. And what I've come to know is, you attract better things when you step into your authentic path. You experience a different way of living, and the things coming into your life are the things you're meant to experience. They're really, really beautiful. They're aligned with you. They excite you. They bring you that motivation to do the hard things, because it's leading you to better things. It's leading other people to better things. And that's what I've come to know, just trying, the journey of self-discovery, self-development, going through all these layers of, my perceptions on life, doing the hard things. You're here to live a freaking exciting life. You're here to live a life of beautiful manifestations, connections of people who see you and hear you for your authentic, weird self. You're here to live a life where, yes, maybe you have to be disciplined. Yes, you have to be consistent in doing the things we don't always want to do. But you're excited to wake up in the morning. You're not feeling a sense of gloom. You're not feeling a sense of fear. You're not feeling like, oh, another day of the same. That is the motivation of what's new. Motivation is the thing that says, hey, I'm so curious to know what's on the other side of this. I'm so curious to know what could manifest on the other side of this challenge I'm facing. Motivation is the thing that we've removed from society in trying to direct people into doing the hard things. I'm getting a little emotional. But it's it's something we need to bring our awareness back to, because if it doesn't motivate you to some extent, like, we suffer in a continuous pattern of our mind. We work towards these things that we think are going to make us feel different on the other side. When we get that goal, when we reach these intentions we want to bring forth, then we don't feel any different. And that's why we fall into depression. That's why we are asking, like, what the hell? Like, I worked so hard and I don't feel any different. We are not always going to understand, what the mind is telling us to pursue. It is about something deeper within ourselves, our soul, this inner knowing. And I like to talk about intuition. If that interests you, I talk about that on my second podcast, Awakened Mindset, where I talk more about intuition, alignment, all of these different details of more of a spiritual path, a conscious path. But if those terms don't resonate with you and you just like, mindset, self-development, the Autumn Mindset is just for you. And that's why I built it too, is that, we all have different sides to us. We all have different, versions of ourselves. And I perceive things in different ways. And that's what I wanted to bring forth, is that, the Autumn Mindset is really for, me to share what I've learned in my experiences of, relationships, of career, of shifting my mindset, of really leaving a lot of struggle in my life, to help you step into your path of authenticity, to feel confident in who you are, to let go, set boundaries, do the hard things, to bring yourself to, experience a beautiful life that you've yet to experience, that's waiting for you on the other side of that resistance. Sometimes we are too scared to face. I've been through all of these stages throughout my life. The Autumn Mindset is for you to feel confident, to, face that fear, to feel inspired to pursue yourself, pursue your dreams, because they're not just a dream. They're a reality for you to experience. And I know that to be true. And that's really my wish for you. And yeah, I always get emotional saying that. But motivation. Motivation is the thing we need to bring our awareness back to, I think. It's been removed, I think, to lead people into the disciplines, because society's been living, and me, myself, this was me in the past. Like, we've just been kind of brought up and conditioned in a way to, quick gratification. We've been kind of led into this state that, we don't feel motivated because, one, we're confused of what to do, where to go. But also, secondly, we're listening to other people. We're following paths of things outside of ourselves. What people are sharing and what worked for them. What the government tells you, what the media tells you. We're always listening to other people. We need to get in touch with ourselves. We know a lot of our answers a lot of the time. It is our soul that knows, but we need to get in touch with ourselves again, to come back to self-love, to come back to, yes, the disciplines of doing the hard things, to understand, like, you deserve to live the life that you envision for yourself. And that's you choosing yourself. That's you setting boundaries. That's you, respectfully setting boundaries. That's you leaving certain situations respectfully. That is you, like, pursuing your dream, traveling alone because no one wants to go with you. That is you choosing you and the things that bring you joy, the things that excite you, the things that bring forth that thing of motivation. And that's what it is. We've neglected motivation for so long that it's kind of been removed in our way of life. But I think it is the clue we need to bring back into our awareness, into our thought process, to ask, like, if on some level I'm not motivated, I'm not excited about this thing. And that needs to be okay. That needs to be okay to say, like, this stuff works for someone else. This stuff works for other people. Me, at this point in time in my life, it's not working for me. I don't find enjoyment in it. I am not motivated. It is not improving my mental health. It is not bringing me to a space where I feel good in my physical health. Like, then that's not for you. That's for us to say, like, if I'm repeating a lot of the same day after day, I'm feeling like really bored. I'm not motivated on some level to say, I'm really excited to build this thing. That's the thing of motivation too. Maybe, yes, you're going to experience a lot of the same for prolonged periods of time, but you should still feel motivated to it. If there's a goal you're excited about, you will experience motivation in those weeks that you're doing a lot of the same. If you're not experiencing any motivation at all, if you're falling into depression, if you are just like unmotivated in life, that is a self-reflection. That is for you to say, whatever I'm doing isn't working. Maybe at this point in time, all I've done is disciplines. Maybe I need to freaking let go. Maybe I need to surrender and explore and just go traveling. Maybe I have never partaken in disciplines, and yes, I'll do the uncomfortable thing, but maybe I'm not motivated in this way. Maybe I need to switch up the type of disciplines I'm doing. Maybe what works for some people that I've been trying, it's not motivating me because it's not me. Maybe I need to try a different workout. Maybe I need to try different nutrition. Maybe the business I thought I was building, it isn't manifesting, nothing is happening. Maybe it's not in accordance to what's meant for me, what I'm meant to pursue, what actually is going to bring me joy. Maybe the universe is going to bring you better. The universe is always trying to bring you better. But we need to face some things sometimes. So motivation is a path that I think we need to bring back to our awareness to understand, like, to some extent, every week we should feel motivated to do the things we're doing. So motivation is key. So I hope that this unique perspective of motivation helps to inspire you to step into alignment with the things that excite you, to shift up your disciplines in a way that's unique to you so that they work for you, so you're still, setting those intentions to reach these manifestations, these goals, but also to understand, like, life is short. You deserve to live a life that's exciting, and even when you're doing the hard things, to some level, you should feel motivated to do that. And sometimes it is about, something within ourselves that we may not understand we're feeling called to do, but we know we're following a path that we just feel drawn to. We just feel pulled to explore, to go into what we have yet to experience, to experience what is currently unknown, and experience that really cool manifestation in time, that new reality, that new life, that new thing that you want to experience and feel. And that is very exciting and my wish for you. So that's today's episode of Motivation, and I hope that it helps to inspire you on your unique journey of self-growth and discovery. So keep shining, lovely beings, and know that I, Autumn Oakley, believe in you in your unique way. Okay, bye.